PhonePe has opened a new battlefront with Google in India by officially launching its latest offering, Indus Appstore, which seeks to challenge the domination of Google PlayStore in the country. In an exclusive chat with CNBC-TV18, PhonePe's co-founder and CEO Sameer Nigam explained the rationale behind Indus Appstore. Listen in.
If there's a billion of anything and there's only one person serving the market, it just means that the second person who actually manages to get into the market will pick up a pretty large piece of the pie just by their very presence, right? I genuinely believe, I've only worked in the consumer internet space, 10 years in the States, 12 here. I genuinely believe people crave choices. And in fact, attention spans are shrinking everywhere you go. So in fact, people, even if they have a favorite app in one category, they keep trying out new stuff. The same has to be true of app stores. That's my genuine belief, that as long as other app stores can exist, I think people will try them out. And if we build a great product, then I think we can get a pretty good share of the market. And I think that's why we're actually getting in. I think India deserves another app store.
Can you take us through the reasoning behind keeping the platform fee zero for the next 1 year until April 2025? And we also spoke about keeping commissions on in-app purchases to zero, and also allowing third-party billing systems or payment gateways. Could you take us through some of, especially these three steps that you've taken, and why it was extremely pertinent? We had Harsh Jain as well, the chairman of IMAI, and they've really been batting for something like this. So could you take me through the kind of reception you've received from developers and some of the demands that they had, and how you've been trying to meet them?
Okay. You'll have to allow me a couple of minutes possibly. So the platform fees is free for the first year only. The reason it's free obviously is we are late entrants into the market and we need to prove to the developers that there's value in our platform. So it is free because we needed to make it free. That's the fastest way to get a lot of app developers in. We have about 2 lakh apps listed on the App Store today. We hope to get to about 500,000 by year end. So only way to do that is to take any friction out. We've taken the path of least resistance. That's more of a sort of early stage growth hack, if you may. As far as in-app billing and payments is concerned, we actually have a very strong point of view. We are the biggest beneficiaries of the interoperability of UPI from 8 years ago. All you had before that were closed banking apps and closed wallets. And if any of them had become as large as Play Store or App Store, we don't think we could have entered the payments market. Similarly, in this case, we see it is ridiculous for us as a payments company that's benefited from interoperability to say, come to my app store, we are fresh, we are new, it's a new way of thinking, but by the way, same old restriction. Why? If you don't like my billing service or you don't like my catalog service, why the hell would I force you to use it? This whole idea of like forcing people to do something is very 2009, and we don't subscribe to it.
Got it. You mentioned that the aspiration is to hit about 500,000 apps on the platform by the end of this year.
That's the goal.
Yeah, by the end of this year. One key category sort of which caught my attention was the real money gaming apps on the platform. Now we see that there is a bit of regulatory overhang. Now when it comes to Google Play Store, they're playing it a little cautious when it comes to it. What's your perspective on it? What are your comments on that? Again, mentioning Harsh Jain, the founder of Dream11, he was here. What is your take on the regulatory overhang and these apps being on the platform?
So I said this after the panel at the event, and I've told Harsh this as well. As long as the law of the land allows for real money games, we will allow them on the platform. Our position as a platform is going to be that we will abide by the law of the land that is penned down. I find it hypocritical that Google allows Dream11 to advertise on YouTube and Google and everywhere else and take their ad dollars, but won't let them list on the Play Store. I think that's having your cake and eating it too. If we want the ad dollars from Dream11, for example, then we would allow Dream11 to be listed. And if the government tells us, no, that category is not allowed, or this set of games within that category is not allowed, we will delist them. We will not apply our own filters on top. That's not our brief. Right? When we offer payments to merchants, we KYC everyone per the law of the land or the regulations of the land. If you don't meet the regulatory requirements, we will not allow you to get payment gateway services. But if you do, I don't opine on what business you're in. I only look at whether you have the right documentation. And similarly on the App Store, why should I care what your app is doing? Tomorrow, certain types of fashion apps or content apps or news apps might be out of favor. That's not an App Store's place to actually opine. Boundaries.
Got it. You mentioned ad dollars. Now the next question was going to be monetization. Now, what's the monetization strategy behind Indus Appstore?
A lot of localized advertising opportunity will arise if we can show that there's consumers for it because it's new. I think video-based discovery, as we said, I think that's one where developers are willing and are increasingly spending because they're seeing new ROI, right? Video advertising is the big sort of new frontier in the ad space, and I think by offering it on deck on the platform, I think we can pick up fair money.
Got it. My next question was going to be on integrations with OEMs. You spoke about integrating with smartphone makers. We've read reports of tie-ups with Nokia and Lava, but any more that we could hear sometime this year or the next?
Almost all of them are in the audience. We're talking clearly to everybody. I can't say more. That one's a tricky turf, as you know, because of the competitive environment. There's barriers to entry and a lot of them that we need to overcome, but we're getting there. We're getting there sooner than we expected.
Google PlayStore sort of faces a lot of sort of backlash often, and regulatory and from app developers as well. Do you think that given that situation, that be it apps or smartphone makers, especially the smartphone makers, that they're quite receptive to this idea of having Indus Appstore as an option?
So I actually do believe, by the way, and I have a lot of friends from Google, I do believe that they will actually welcome a challenger in the market because I think it'll bust a few myths. I'll give you an example. I know that a bunch of my colleagues in the industry hate the fact that you have to bid on your own brand name. And there was a question from the gentleman from Bharat Matrimony, who in the past has actually sued Google over this, and he said, I want to make sure you will not make me advertise on your brand name. And my counter question to him was, do you advertise on Shadi's name? If you want to do that, you can't protest this. There are certain things, I'm just giving that as an example. There are certain things where we will actually take a position similar to Google's, but we will publish it. And there are certain positions where we'll take a contrarian view, and that's how competition sort of takes off, right? And I think for Google's sake, I will say this as well. I have never had a problem with Google charging 30%. I don't care if they actually charge 80%. As long as other app stores could exist, including OEM app stores, could exist and thrive without Google trying to actually restrict access there, I don't think they could ever charge much more than the market will allow. Markets balance out when there's competition. So I think we're trying to create competition. Are they going to be thrilled about it? No, but I hope that they will appreciate given the climate globally. And by the way, this is not an India thing only. This is playing out in the US and on their home turf. This is playing out in Europe. You've seen the rulings there. I think there's enough evidence. Korea, Japan, China. I think there's enough evidence that countries, developer communities, consumers even are saying we want more competition. This is a critical part of the internet.
My final question, it has to be on Paytm and the crisis that it's going through. You mentioned somewhere that you would be called an opportunist, no matter what you say, but you'll be opportunistic. But what's your perspective on that and sort of the kind of traction that you've seen because of the crisis?
No, actually what I said was, the question posed to me was, will my market share increase or decrease? And I said, if I say it will not increase, you'll call me a hypocrite because you know it probably will. If I said I'm going to try and grab it, you'll call me an opportunist. And so I'm just going to split the difference and say it'll change. There might be a new normal. Maybe there's no change. Maybe they just bounce back and we're back where we were before. I don't know. I mean, some of these things, we've seen this with Yes Bank when we were on the other side of a moratorium. Short term, for a few days, there was a big impact on our numbers. We bounced back in less than 3 days. I don't know when they bounce back. And as I said, I mean, there's without getting into the why and how and what of it. As a company, we're not one that wishes ill on anybody in the market. We like competing fiercely. We like competing hard with difficult, tough competitors. It makes us better. And I hope they survive and they thrive. So more power to them as well.